This first video will talk about where we've been to give context in where we need to go.
There's been a lot of buzz about virtual reality, VR, but for starters, I'd like to know just what it is and what it isn't.
To say there's a linear history of virtual reality would be misleading. Architects and painters have been fooling our senses for centuries. Photography has experimented with stereo.
Okay, two photographs, just a little bit different, but we look at them through the viewfinder and they sort of fuse into one.
Right, and give the illusion of 3D.
However, the term virtual reality appeared long after cinema flickered into life. The term lives a double life. In science fiction, unlimited promise and fear, to whatever happens to be the forefront of technology.
Kay Stanny, a researcher at the University of Central Florida, is studying the real-world consequences of virtual reality for NASA.
In some cases, the greater the sense of immersion, the greater our sense of wanting to reject it. In 1990, 30 years after the first patent application for a head-mounted display, the public was introduced to the first functioning prototype. A first glimpse, a synthesis of two technologies that ushered a new wave of hype.
If she was seeing in 3D, she's going through the door. Now, what's she got here? This looks like fish. She's swimming around in a room full of fish.
Everyone was sufficiently caught up in the hype.
There comes a time in all our lives when we begin to wonder exactly what is this thing called reality. For me, right now, reality is the fact that I am Jeff Goldblum, host of Future Quest, doing the opening of this episode on virtual reality.
Some of the earliest demos centered around what was familiar. Products were marketed to architects, but with a limited success.
Analysts calculate that the virtual reality market, now estimated at less than $90 million a year in consumer sales, will explode into a $6 billion business by the end of the century.
The hype outpaced the technology, an occurrence so common it has a name, the hype cycle. And while VR reached its peak of expectations during the failed release of the Virtual Boy...
Let's think about this. This must be one of the worst designs for any invention in history. The 3D effects are hard to focus and they strain your eyes. There was even a warning on the box that said it could cause headaches and seizures. How would you like to play bad games and have a headache too?
The progress of video cards continued on pace with Moore's Law. While media hype faded, progress was silently being made in high-budget applications, car and boat manufacturing, as well as university and research environments. One of the more successful applications was in something called the cave environment. With 15 years of improvement, we're moving from disappointment to progress.